In today's MLB recap, we got Jazz Chisholm Jr. playing like prime A-Rod over there at the hot corner in the Bronx. He had himself another nice night. Now, staying with New York, they have Aaron Judge, right? Well, the Diamondbacks, they have an Aaron Judge of their own lately. We'll talk about that. Ohtani, he stayed hot. Another game with a home run and a stolen base, which I guess irked Big Papi, David Ortiz, because Papi literally called out Ohtani. We had multiple games where a starting pitcher went 6, 7, 8 innings of perfect or no-hit baseball, and Fernando Tatis Jr., to me, just made the play of the season. Don't miss out on that. We're going to talk about all of that and more in today's MLB Recap. You guys know that Recap is brought to you by SeatGeek. Save yourself 20 bucks off on all of your tickets using code Fuzzy. Recap is also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. If you guys download Underdog Fantasy using code Fuzzy, they'll give you this free Josh Allen pick'em for today's game. Don't miss out on that. A free CeeDee Lamb pick'em, up to $1,000 and bonus cash credit. They have every sport that you can think of, so download Underdog Fantasy, support the channel, and use code Fuzzy. Listen, I know that the Castellanos home run joke is probably played out to some, but to me, it'll never get old. Now, a quick recap. Edwin Ucita of the Rays hit Nick Castellanos. He said that it was a change of talking about Edwin when the radar read a 96-mile-per-hour sinker, so he's just straight up lying. He gets a 3-game suspension, and Nick got his payback, a 2-run blast for some vindication. And honestly, Nick Castellanos has a real chance at 900 extra bases for his career. He just has to average 44 over the next 6 seasons. Tampa, they did get to Zach Wheeler. There was an RBI bloop in the second, but Wheeler really dialed in after that. He struck out the side in the third, and he kept it 2-1 for a while. And by a while, I mean until the 6th inning. Wheeler, he was still really good, don't get me wrong. 9 strikeouts over 6. He has a 2.6 ERA and 199 strikeouts. Can he catch up to Chris Sale for the Cy Young? Let me know. Drew Rasmussen, he's really in some trouble. There was a meeting on the mound, and we have some birthday magic. Weston Wilson with the go-ahead RBI dribbler on his 30th birthday as Carlos Estevez, he seals his 25th save. He has a 2 ERA with the Phillies. The Phillies are 88. I don't know what their losses are, but they have 88 Ws. Emmanuel Rivera giveth and Emmanuel Rivera, what? Sounding like Mike Tyson over here, but you know what I'm trying to say. Emmanuel Rivera, he homered, and then he threw away the lead. That's really got us thinking because we know that fans, they're going to remember the error more than the home run, especially when Cedon put the Red Sox up a run an inning later. Rivera, he better give Santander a great big hug because Tony Taters now has 41 home runs. That is tied for 8th most ever by a switch hitter in Major League Baseball history. All is forgiven. Emmanuel, he clutched up in the 10th inning. Yes, we're in extras now. That was a classic Baltimore chop to give his team the lead for about 5 minutes. T.O. with the W.O. All that means is Tyler O'Neill hit a walk-off. His 30th home run in 101 games. He is going to get a bag this offseason. And by the way, a big tip of the cap to Nick Pivetta, who struck out 9 Orioles over 6 innings. He's allowed 2 earned runs or fewer in 3 consecutive starts. So we're going to talk about Big Papi versus Ohtani right after this, but obviously because we just talked about the Orioles, we have to talk about the Yankees game. Michael Massey, he looks like Babe Ruth in Yankee Stadium. He already has 4 career home runs down in the Bronx, and Jazz Chisholm Jr., he just started playing third base. What a grab. What a see. That was on a line to third base. Yankees fans, they went from hyped up, and now they're just praying that Soto is going to be okay. If you've never played baseball, when you foul a pitch off your own foot or leg, it's one of the worst feelings ever. But he used a little stem shot. He revived himself for a 2-run go-ahead home run. He has 100 RBIs now. Judge and Soto just became the first duo since Big Papi and Manny Machado with 100 walks and 100 RBIs in the same season. Salvi, he had his fingerprints all over the next few clips. This sac fly tied it, and in the bottom of the 7th, Trevino, he evaded the tag from Salvi, but then Salvi got Volpe with a perfectly placed throw. Salvi's up in extra innings now. He watched a pitch sail past him, so it's 3-2 Royals. But the lefty, Austin Wells, he's given a chance against a lefty. This is rare. He skies one to left. A lot of lefts going on. And Volpe, he's going to try home again. This time, he's in there. It's 3-3. Jazz, he can win it. Bobby, he stopped it. What a play. But Jazz does walk it off, and the Yankees are back to a 1.5 games over the Orioles in the AL East. All right, so let's talk about this Big Papi versus Shohei little debate, huh? Let's get into it. I thought it was an Onion article, like a straight-up lie, but this is real. David Ortiz said that Ohtani is only in the MVP race as a DH because he's, quote, MLB's pretty girl, I mean, Ohtani, we'll show in a second, but he has 47 home runs and 48 stolen bases. By the way, he's 48 of 52 in stolen base attempts. David Ortiz, he had some monster seasons, but he also played in the era with A-Rod, Josh Hamilton, Vladimir Guerrero Sr., a bunch of other studs. And don't get me wrong, Big Papi was a savage, and he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, at least in my opinion. And maybe he deserved MVP in 2006, but they valued batting average way more back then, so they gave it to Justin Morneau, who hit 321. But Nolan Ryan got robbed of plenty of Cy Youngs because they cared more about pitcher wins and not walking guys. I hate saying it, but voters did screw David Ortiz out of an MVP potentially in 06, but don't take it out on Shohei Ohtani. Ohtani's about to go 50-50. David Ortiz never did that. There's a clear difference. Come on, Big Papi, you're better than that. Shohei must have heard all of that noise because after the Cubs went up 2-0, he ripped, like I said, his 47th home run, a line drive home run off the lefty Jordan Wicks. Tommy Edman, again, he's got 3 home runs over the last 24 hours. He has 3 home runs and 5 stolen bases his first 21 games as a Dodger. Will Smith, this is big because just like Ali and Will have had pretty bad second halves. He makes it back-to-back home runs, and Muncy makes it back-to-back. 3 home runs in a row, 4 in 1 inning. Poor Jordan Wicks, I mean, someone turned off the gravity as soon as he stepped off the mound. Shohei got on again. Yes, that is his 48th stolen base. He is 3 home runs and 2 stolen bases away from a 50-50 again. Big Papi, you never did that. He wasn't done. 1 second, I do got to bring up Seiya. That's his 20th home run. He's so underrated. A 133 OPS plus. I wanted to show that before Ohtani's RBI single. And Belly's 3-run home run to bring it within 1. He has 3 home runs and 7 RBIs in 6 games versus the Dodgers this year. Pete Crow Armstrong, PCA, he stays molten magma hot. We are tied up. He plays platinum defense, and he's batting .325 with an almost .380 on base his last 30 games. Remember, he's a rookie. Gavin Lux, he came in as a pinch hitter, and he delivered. He's almost batting .320 with the 160 OPS plus in the second half. Tommy, we might have to call this guy Tommy Taters. 4 home runs in 24 hours. He's up to 4 home runs and 5 stolen bases. His first 21 games, a lot of that damage was over the last few days, but he's really made up for his slow start. Speaking of slow starts, the Astros had a painfully slow start to begin this 2024 season, but they've really turned it up, but so have the A's. It's 2-0 Astros after a Jake Meyer sac fly. Dubon, he had an RBI dunk to shallow right when the A's reset the score. Brent Rooker, he's officially in the 100 RBI club, and Altuve, he took his eye off the ball. He just whiffed it. He was looking at Rooker running past them, so that's tied up. And then the A's, they gift wrapped a run right back. Schumann, he missed it. Jordan, the big boy, can turn on the Jets from time to time. He scores all the way from first base. Oh, man, I hope that Jose is okay because he took an awkward swing. He tried to stay in. He just kind of threw his bat out as a bunt, and he's out the game. I hope that he's all right because he's having a great season. So it's now 3-2 Houston in the 6th inning. Well, it was 3-2 Houston. Rookie Kyle McMahon snuck one into the Crawford boxes, and then Brent Rooker drove an RBI number 101 on the season. So it went from 3-2 Houston to 5-3 Oakland. Now, the Astros tried to get a rally going, and they did, but Butler's diving play ensured it wasn't a game-winning rally. So he robs Yainer Diaz. He keeps him off the bases, which means that this is only an RBI single for the pinch hitter Kyle Tucker, not a game-tying 2-run knock. Mason Miller, he had a 1-2-3 9th inning, I think on 9 pitches as well, his 24 save. They've won 2 in a row against the Astros. The A's have basically been Santa Claus for the Seattle Mariners because there's Cal Raleigh and Luke Raley clutching up again. Cal's up to 92 RBIs, and Luke, he drove in 2 more on the single. Brian Wu, he was quite literally perfect to start this game. 4 perfect innings. Randy, he saved the game with a sensational grab in left field. Randy has looked like himself over the last few months. I know he had a slow start, but he's really locked in lately. Brian Wu, he went 18 up, 18 down, so 6 perfect innings, make it 19 in a row. All he has to do is get Fernando Tatis Jr. Well, he ends the perfect game in style. He pimps it. Tatis has 33 extra base hits and 16 home runs despite missing 60 games. Wait until you see his web gem. There was a standing O for Brian. Obviously, he's now 8-2 with a 2.38 ERA. The fact that he's a 5-starter is just insane to me. You know what else is insane? This grab from the Platinum Glover. Tatis brought it back. Randy's in disbelief, and I don't care what you guys say. Tatis is still a top 10 player when healthy in all of Major League Baseball. Andres Munoz, he collected save number 20, and the Mariners are within 3.5 games of the wild card spot. From a near perfect game to a no-hitter. Wait, who's throwing it? Sean Manaea, he had 5 strikeouts through 2 2/3. Lindor made a sick dive, and okay, it's not Sean Manaea. He gave up a few hits and a run in the 4th inning. It's Bowden Francis again, and and David Schneider just saved his no-hitter, just like Randy saved the perfect game. Again, we don't know if Bowden's going to finish it, but Bader, he crushed that pitch, and Davis, he was looking like Kevin Pillar out there. Bowden, he got JD to pop up, so that's 7 no-hit frames, only 1 strikeout though, so he was just living with the weak contact like this. Jesse Winker's weak pop-up means that Bowden has gone 8 no-hit innings again. He did the same thing like 3 weeks ago. He was 1 out away from throwing a no-hitter against the Angels when Taylor Ward ended it with a home run. Francisco Lindor channeled his inner Taylor Ward, and he tied the game and ruins the no-no. Lindor has 31 home runs and a 133 OPS plus. Bowden, he's out, but you got to salute. And look at Manaea saluting Bowden. They were former teammates. Bowden has allowed 6 runs his last 6 starts, which is crazy. The Mets were happy to see him go. Pete and Starling Marte, they both skied sack flies. Chad Green was terrible. He walked the bunch. The other Francisco, Mr. Francisco Alvarez, he slammed a pitch as well. He hit the first pitch out the hand of Genesis Cabrera, and the Jays, yeah, they fall to the Mets 6-2. This is the kind of game that Chipper Jones was talking about when he said that he hardly watches and that he's been frustrated with Atlanta's approach. He had to watch his team get held to 6 base hits while the Young Nationals teed off for 13 hits, 11 versus Max Fried. Dylan Cruz, that's an RBI. He's got 3 home runs, 7 RBIs, and 5 stolen bases his first 14 games. I just wanted to mention that. James Wood, he got the 2-time Gold Glover to Ole the Chopper. They gave Wood the RBI single and score CJ. CJ, he then decided to score himself a lefty moonshot. He's up to 24 home runs and 41 stolen bases over his last 162 dating back to last year. The Braves tried to rally a little bit with Harris and Soler. They both had some doubles in the 6th, but Jake Irvin only allowed those 2 base hits and the 1 run. And what is this swing from Sean Murphy? Maybe he was trying to move the runners over and go the other way, but that's a bad swing. Olsen, he ends the 8th with multiple runners on, and Kyle Finnegan, he seals it. So the Nationals are now 8-5 against the Braves on the season. You guys want to see a rocket base hit? Lane Thomas starts us off with a rocket 128 mile per hour 2 RBI base hit. Look at the exit velo on that thing. I'm joking, but he beats the throw, and J-Ram, he flew all the way around from second to make it a 2 RBI single, and if you guys have not repented, do so now. Austin Hedges just went yard. He pimped it as well. Jesus might be coming back. And check this out. It happened again. Lane, he chopped a ball, and yet again, he beats out an infield single, and again, 2 scored. Andres, he glides in, so that's 4 RBIs on 2 infield singles. I've never seen that before in my life. The White Sox starter, Davis Martin, he was over it. Now, Chicago did have a wacky sequence of events. An error allowed Lenyn Sosa to have an RBI. Then Matthew Boyd, who was shredding the White Sox, tried to pick off with no one at first base, so that's a balk. Another run scores. Andres made a nice play, but another run scores, and then the ball was deflected off of Boyd, so he should have been out the inning already. He had 9 strikeouts and under 5, but regardless, Will Brennan, he got one back. Lane, he scores after his 3rd base hit, and Clase strikeout versus Andrew Vaughn ends it, so he's up to 44 saves, a 0.67 ERA. Cleveland sweeps the White Sox against, Grady, but they had 18 strikeouts in this game as a pitching staff, and they're 4.5 games up on the Royals. Before we talk about the NL version of Aaron Judge, and I mean that, let's recap the rest of the AL Central just really quick. Riley Green, this is why we emphasize putting a barrel on a ball. He basically reached for it, but he got a barrel on it, so that ball leaves. Mr. Kerry Carpenter, I think he was a triple away from the cycle in this one. Oh, no, wait, maybe he was a home run away, because this is the RBI 3-bagger to score Matt Vierling. Torkelson, he's back to driving in runs. Listen, I'm a Cleveland fan, you guys know that, but I've been expecting this for 2 seasons, and it's kind of crazy to see it finally coming to fruition because Javier's not on the team. Talking about Mr. El Mago Baez. Trey Sweeney, he's playing shortstop now, the rookie. Who cares about his sister, Sydney? By the way, that's a lie as well. Trey, he's up to 4 home runs and 3 outs above average. He's already been more valuable than Javier Baez. McMahon, I'll show this for Rockies fans. He hit his 19th home run. Casey Mize just kind of ran out of gas. His Tovar now has 43 doubles after this 2-run 2-bagger, and I had to show those because Riley Green's running grab basically ended the game as Jason Foley, he has 22 saves. He hasn't allowed an earned run over his last 18 games. As the Tigers, they won 4 in a row, and they're 3 games back of a wild card spot. The Twins are the only team ahead of them. But they're still 3 games back because the Twins won again. There were home runs getting hit all over the place in this game. Taylor Ward, he connected on the first one. Matt Wallner, I mean, power-wise, he's probably my number 2 in the AL behind Aaron Judge, but the NL version of Judge is coming after this game, don't you worry. Nolan Schanuel, his 13th home run. People said that he had no pop, and it's kind of cool to see him really shutting up those narratives. Willie Castro, he tied the game with an an RBI single right before the rookie Brooks Lee, who, by the way, has such an old school batting stance. I love it. It looks like Wade Boggs out there. That is a go-ahead 2-run double. And here's the first career home run for Justin Adams. A cool little moment for him. But Correa, he broke out the iPad. He was doing some research with Royce Lewis. Whatever they looked at, it worked because that's a 3-run. Well, it was a 3-run home run, but then they went to replay it, banged off that metal fencing, which is in place, so that is a 2-run double. Sean Noel, he had another RBI on his third base hit, but Durant, he kept his cool. He has 23 saves, and yes, they stay 3 games up on the Tigers for that final wildcard spot. Here we go. The NL Aaron Judge. No, not Corbin Carroll. This is really fun, though. He legs out an RBI triple. Always love to see him fly around the bases. Not this guy either, but however, I had no idea that Randall Grichuk had 200 career home runs. No BS. That's number 200 right there. I had no idea he had that many. Gino, the NL Judge. Here we go. I'll explain in a moment. He had another home run later on, but home runs, they're flying out left and right. Marcus Semien, he jolted one out. Ketel Marte, he extends his home runs versus lefties. I think he has 17 home runs versus southpaws. That is a 3-run home run. Merrill Kelly, I feel so bad. He's had a tough stretch this season. He chucked the pitch comm. I think he had to leave with cramps, so again, I just feel bad for him. He cannot stay healthy. Eugenio had another extra base hit. He was a triple away from the cycle, and holy quick hands from the rookie Adrian Del Castillo. It is not easy to find a catcher who can do that. Suarez, he's now 4 for 4. If I told you these stats right, you're thinking Aaron Judge. Player A is hitting .330 with 22 home runs and 58 RBIs over his last 57 games. You're thinking that's Aaron Judge. That's Eugenio Suarez. Grichuk, he gives Arizona a franchise record 13 extra base hits in one game, 7 doubles, a triple, and 5 home runs. Watch the heck out for the Diamondbacks. The Giants did not have 13 extra base hits, but they almost matched the Diamondbacks in terms of runs scored. Colin Ray, he's been really bad lately, looking like the old Colin Ray of past. There was a wild pitch that was followed up by a Lamont Wade Jr. RBI. Gerard, this is only the 75th time ever a right-handed hitter has gone yard to right field at Oracle/AT&T. I still miss AT&T, but that is some big boy pop. Tyler Fitzgerald, he's waking up again, folks. That's an RBI double. He had 3 base hits in this one. He's hitting almost .350 in the month of September. Yaz, the power surge continues. Back-to-back nights with a home run. He has 15 home runs on the season. He almost had another one to make it 16, but this one's an RBI double to score Tyler Fitzgerald. Yaz, he's out trying for third base. CB Buckner, by the way, got in Tyler's way, rounding third. Can umpires just get out the way, man? Matt Chapman has 24 home runs now. He's got 35 doubles, 15 stolen bases, a 125 OPS plus, and the Gold Glove defense. Blake Snell, a vintage Snell performance because he's out after 5 because he threw 95 pitches, but he did have 8 strikeouts. The Giants ran it up to 13 runs after Gerard, Luciano, and Lamont all drove in some extra, and they're 8 games back with 16 games left. Thomas JC just robbed LED the Cruz of a base hit. I always thought that it was Thomas Sagassi, but I got that way wrong apparently. He came on over from Texas in that Jordan Montgomery trade. Lance Lynn was gross. He had back-to-back strikeouts in the third. Now he's got to face Ellie with multiple runners on. He reared back and he roared after getting that strikeout. Vintage Lance Lynn. Spencer Steer, he was a thorn in Lance's side. He caused some problems in the fourth with a double. Then he stole third base. By the way, Steer has 52 extra base hits and 25 stolen bases. I don't know if he scores. He probably just gets the third because he's going to have to wait to see if it drops, but that's an RBI for Espinal. Nolan, come on, ball, go! It goes! Nolan has 16 home runs on the season, and Goldie, he tagged a pitch as well. This one's not going to leave, but it does drop. The bullet RBI double seals it. Goldie has 24 base hits his last 54 at-bats. That's a .434 batting average. Ryan Helsley, 44 saves as the Cardinals, they're 6.5 games back. Do they have a chance at a comeback? The final game of the video, it was over by the second inning as O'Neal Cruz let Miami do all the work. That is a bases loaded walk. Connor Joe, he's grateful for Miami's wildness. That is an RBI sac fly. And they call this guy the big tree. Jared Triolo with his 8th home run as Bailey Falter had a no-no. I think he went 6 1/3 no-hit frames. And even on the first base hit allowed, Miami handed him an out. Thank you, Otto Lopez. He's out at third base. Bailey goes 6 shutout. He ends up going 6 2/3 scoreless. And it's crazy to see O'Neal Cruz out there in center field, but I think that he's going to be just A-okay out there with that speed and arm. Jalen Beeks, that's a save, and Pittsburgh, they just went 7-0 against the Marlins this year. Well, everyone, that does it for today's recap. This was a big boy recap, so if you made it until the end, do me a favor, leave a like on the video, subscribe if you're brand new, use code Fuzzy on SeatGeek, Underdog Fantasy, all that crazy stuff, and enjoy the rest of the Web Gems.
Pop up into left field and a
ball toward a hole. Nice stop by Story, off balance to get.
0-2 pitch. What a diving play by Bregman. And a throw into it.
And a high fly down the left field line. On the run on Duran into the corner, leaping up.
Line to left center field, and Ramos is going to